גדול על כל מעשיך כי מקדישך בקדושתך קידשת נאה לקדוש נאה לקדוש איי איי פאר מקדושי.
Hello everyone. In honor of Tzom Gedalia, we continue our series about controversial davenings during the high holidays, as Tzom Gedalia always comes out during the high holidays. And today we're going to deal with the following scenario. So, as everybody knows, on any fast day, we read the Torah. We read it at Shacharit and we read it at Mincha. Gabbai, indeed, has to call up three people. Must they be fasting or not? That question is sharpened this year simply because Tzom Gedalia comes out on a Thursday when we read the Torah anyway, albeit we're not going to read the Parshat Shavua of that week, we're going to read Vayechal, but still we read it anyway. So the Shulchan Aruch paskins in Siman Tov Kuf Samich Vav Seif Vav, Yesh Mi Sheomer, as it's one opinion he says that, but he doesn't bring a descending opinion, that She'en Omed Likot B'Torah B'Tanit Tzibur Mi Shelo Yitaneh, that you don't call up to the Torah someone that's not fasting. And this is true even to the extent that if he's a Kohen, Yetzeh HaKohen Mi Beit HaKnesset Ve'omed Likot B'Torah Yisrael HaMitaneh. Tell the Kohen to leave shul before the Gabbai starts calling up people, so we don't have a problem of not calling up a Kohen. Comes along the Magen Avraham and says, that's true on a regular fast day that comes out, let's say on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday or a Sunday. However, says the Magen Avraham, if it comes out on a Monday or a Thursday at Shacharit, not Mincha, but at Shacharit, says the Magen Avraham mutar la'alot, that even though we don't read the Parshat Shavua, we're reading a fast day Torah reading of Vayechal, mikol makom kol panim korin b'Torah b'lo ha'ta'anit. You're going to read the Torah anyway, so you can call up anyone you want, if indeed, like this year, Tzom Gedalia comes out on a Thursday. So from this perspective, if it's any other day of the week, according to the Shulchan Aruch, you have to be pedantic, and you have to ask the guy, are you fasting? Yes? Great, you're getting Aliya. But if it's a Monday or a Thursday in the morning, no need. Afternoon, since we usually don't read the Torah, and we're only reading it because it's a fast day, then you have to be machmir. Question is this really totally and utterly a law, a din, or just a minhag? So we have to go back a step. As everybody knows, the Shulchan Aruch is the Code of Jewish Laws summary of his Beit Yosef that he wrote on the Code of Jewish Law of the Tur, the son of the Rosh. So let's go to the Tur and see what he says. So indeed the Tur brings an opinion of Rabbi Natan that says that a Shliach Tzibur she'eino mitaneh, namely someone that is a chazan but he's not fasting, then vadai im efshar sheyesh shatza mitaneh tov hu me'acher. If indeed you have a chazan that's fasting, tov hu me'acher, it's better him than someone else. Now, when you hear those words, does that mean it's a prohibition that someone not fasting should be a chazan on a fast day? Or it's better? Seems to me that all he's saying is it's better, but a prohibition it is not. And indeed, the Torah says, Avalim ifshar nirali she'achol yitpalel. If there's no one else, he can daven. And indeed, comes along the Bayit Chadash, namely Rav Yoel Sirkis, who wrote his perush against the Beit Yosef, the Code of Jewish Law. The Beit Yosef is the house of Yosef. This is the Bayit Chadash, the new house, namely the better house. And he says that according to what the Torah says, as we heard it a second ago, it seems like that ultimately, Lefi Svarat Rabbeinu Nirad Hu Adin Yachol Likot B'Torah V'lo Ino Mitaneh, he can actually get an Aliya. Because an Aliya is something that the whole congregation is obligated in. It's not a personal obligation like davening. It's a general obligation upon the congregation as a whole. And therefore, he says that Rab Natan's chiddush is only with regard to davening. And from this perspective, he says the minhag is not to call up someone not fasting, but a minhag only it is. And therefore, davar pashutu, it's absolutely clear, she'im ta'u v'karu l'sefer Torah oto she'ino mitaneh, ya'aleh ve'yevarech. If by mistake the Gabbai called up someone that's not fasting, you don't call up someone else in his place. Why? She'en kan isur kol ikar l'divrei hakol, ela shenagu lechatchila shelo la'alot. There's no isur involved, but rather it's just lechatchila, it's what we do, it's a minhag. However, we saw the Code of Jewish Law, and indeed the Beit Yosef, against which the Bach wrote, comes along and says very clearly, based on the Maharik, Yisrael hamitaneh yisnere midvarav she'en omed likot b'Torah mi shelo yitaneh. You don't call up someone not fasting. He doesn't make a difference between Monday or Thursday. He says not fasting. You don't call him up on a fast day. And he repeats this in a different place, not just in Simon Tov Kuf Samech Vav, but rather in Simon Kuf Lamed Hey, dealing with Kriya B'Torah. He says this is true even if you called up a Kohen. Now I remind everyone, if you call up a Kohen, you're fulfilling a mitzvah, the oraisa of the Kidashto. You're giving more sanctity to the Kohen by giving him more kavod. He says, B'yom ta'anit, lo likot b'Torah Kohen she'ino mitaneh. ומעשים בכל יום שדוחים כבוד הכהנים כדי לקיים מנהג זה כשאין כהן מתענה באותם התעניות יוצא הכהן מבית הכנסת ועומד ישראל המתענה לקרות בתורה. So on a fast day, even if he's a Kohen, מעשים בכל יום, it's actually common that if the Kohen does not fast, the Kohen leaves shul, you call up someone else, then he comes in to hear Kriyas HaTorah. Seems like the Beis Yosef says maybe it's a minhag, but we treat it like a halacha, but the Bach says it's only a minhag, and therefore if you made a mistake, you don't have to go crazy, and you don't have to be that pedantic. So indeed, the Gdolei HaPoskim afterwards continued to have this machlokes. The Taz comes along and says that indeed it's a halacha all the way, and you should not call up someone not fasting, whether it's a Monday or a Thursday or anything else, Shacharit versus Mincha, it makes no difference. However, the Magen Avraham at the end of the day says, there's no isser involved. And indeed, Rabbi Akiva Eger says, that even if we're worried about the Taz, at the end of the day, if that would be the case, we'd have to call up someone else, and we'd have to have 3 more Aliyahs, and we never heard that we did that. So therefore he says, it's a minhag, it's not something that you have to be that worried about. And indeed the Mishnah Berurah says, b'di'evet, if you called up someone not fasting, you don't have to call up someone else. So, if that's the case on a regular fast day, that the Bach, together with Rabbi Akiva Eger, and the Mishnah Berurah b'di'evet say, if you already called them up, don't worry about it, and all the more so if it's a Monday or Thursday in the morning, because anyway, you're going to read the Torah. So, to sum up, the law of not calling up someone that doesn't fast on a fast day is something that's a machlokes. Is it a real bona fide din, as the Shulchan Aruch codifies, or is it just a minhag, and therefore you don't have to be that pedantic? All the more so this year when it comes out on a Thursday in the morning, not mincha, where you're going to read the Torah anyway, even if it wasn't a fast day. And in that case, you don't have to be that pedantic. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is it's very uncomfortable for any gabbai to ask someone, are you fasting? Because if he's not, even if he has good reason not to fast, he's sick, whatever it might be, it's embarrassing to say so. And therefore, my advice is that this year, on a Thursday, in the morning, you can definitely be mekel and give aliyahs to whoever you want in the morning. In the afternoon, I think you can be a little more pedantic to mekayim this minhag, but at the end of the day, even if you weren't, it seems like a minhag it is, and if you already called them up, at the end it's okay.
וסצילנו מכל גזירוי סחזוריות